channel dedicated to sharing God's love revealed throughout all 66 books of Scripture.
That is quite an opening line, and, we're using it right up front today because it really frames what we're diving into.
It does.
The material today comes from that specific context. It's focused on Scripture, mainly Ephesians, and it challenges us to see the divine plan not just as something for us here on Earth, but as an event of, cosmic significance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the mission of this deep dive, to get into a truly surprising idea that this teaching presents. The concept of the church as, and I'm quoting here, cosmic witnesses. We're so used to focusing on, our personal journey, our community. This just blows the doors off that. It puts us right in the middle of a celestial drama.
It really does.
Yeah.
The core revelation, the big idea, is that this mystery of salvation, this whole plan that God apparently had from eternity, was never meant to be just for human ears. The sources are clear. It has a celestial audience. It's now being made known to powerful beings in the heavenly realms.
And that, right there, is the huge question for this whole deep dive. It's the question for you listening at home to really chew on. Why would angels, beings already in God's presence who see his power every moment, why would they need to learn something new about God's wisdom?
And why through us?
And why through us? That's the scale of what we need to unpack from these sources today.
It is, and it demands that we immediately expand our definition of audience. If we confine God's work to just our own small earthly thinking, we miss the whole point of Ephesians 3.
All right, so let's get into the text. Let's unpack the support for this cosmic claim. The sources point us directly to the Apostle Paul, specifically Ephesians chapter 3.
Right. Paul is explaining this plan that was for a long time hidden, the plan to include everyone, all people, into one body through Christ. And it's now, finally, being revealed.
And it has a purpose that isn't just terrestrial.
Exactly, a non-terrestrial purpose. Verse 10 is the key. It's the foundation for this whole teaching. It says, God established the church so that through it, the manifold wisdom of God might now be made known to the rulers and authorities in the heavenly realms.
Okay, that phrase, manifold wisdom of God, is incredibly dense. It can't just mean a lot of wisdom. What are we really talking about there?
Well, the word manifold comes from a Greek word that suggests something multifaceted. Variegated, colorful.
Like a diamond.
Yeah, that's a perfect analogy. You see a diamond and the light shines through one way. Then you turn it just a little and you see a completely new facet, a new color, a new kind of brilliance.
I see.
So the sources interpret this as God revealing aspects of his character that, just hadn't been fully shown before. Not through creation, not through governing the cosmos. This was something new.
So if creation showed his power, his order, salvation must show a different facet entirely. But let's nail down the audience first. Who are these rulers and authorities in the heavenly realms?
The interpretation in this material is unanimous on this point. It's the heavenly beings.
The angels.
The angelic host, yes. And this puts the church in an unbelievable position. We're the demonstration case. Angels are literally witnessing God's glory and his wisdom through our lived experience, through the community, through redemption in the church.
That completely changes how I think about the purpose of the church. Usually it's all horizontal witnessing to our neighbors,
Right.
But this adds a vertical mission, a celestial testimony.
That's it. The sources call the church a glorious cosmic witness. It's like a mirror held up to the heavens, reflecting a side of God's nature they couldn't have understood otherwise.
So every act of forgiveness.
Every act of forgiveness, every time people from different backgrounds come together in unity, every time the weak are strengthened, it all serves this universal celestial function. The heavenly beings are, in a sense, learning theology by watching us.
It's the ultimate case study. Okay, but let's get to the surprise itself. If angels saw galaxies being born, if they saw the laws of the universe being set, if they've seen raw, unfiltered divine power, what is this wisdom in the gospel that they would long to look into?
And this is the absolute core of the deep dive. The sources really stress this distinction. The angels already understood God's creative wisdom.
Right. His power, his intelligence.
Exactly. His ability to create and enforce universal law. What they couldn't see, what was completely unexpected, was his redemptive wisdom.
Okay.
And that wisdom manifested specifically as the wisdom of humility.
That's a fascinating distinction. How does that contradict what a heavenly being would expect from an infinite creator?
Well, just think about the cosmic hierarchy they exist in. Angels are powerful, they're pristine, they operate on command and power. To them, God is defined by omnipotence, by transcendence,
So if humanity messes up,
If humanity sins, the logical response, the one they would expect based on everything they know, is immediate judgment, unyielding justice. They get power.
they understand the law of consequence.
Yes. But the wisdom in the gospel just flips that whole expectation on its head. It introduces a concept that must seem illogical to a mind that's focused on power.
Which is?
That the Creator himself would choose to solve the problem by descending into the weakness of his own creation.
That's the plot twist.
Yeah.
That has to have completely redefined how they understood God's character.
And it's the specifics of that humility that become the spectacle for them. The material says the wisdom was that the Creator would, 1, take on human flesh, 2, he would dwell among sinners, and 3, critically, he would love them to the point of a sacrificial death on a cross, an act of ultimate weakness.
It's like, imagine a CEO of a global mega corporation. A small division is failing. You'd expect him to send in consultants, throw money at the problem. Sure. But instead, he quits his job, becomes the janitor in that failing division, does the dirtiest work, and then takes the fall for all their mistakes just to save the employees. That's the level of self-abasement we're talking about.
That's a great analogy. It's the shocking vulnerability of that choice that reveals this manifold wisdom. It shows that his justice is perfectly balanced by a boundless, sacrificial love that uses weakness to win.
And that must be why the sources bring in 1 Peter, where it says the angels are peering into this mystery. They're not just watching, they're actively trying to figure it out.
Exactly. This self-giving love, that was the hidden facet of the diamond. The gospel isn't just a survival guide for us. It's a revelatory text for the entire universe, showing once and for all what God is really like.
So if our participation in this has such, astronomical importance, if we're the stage for this celestial lesson, then the mandate given to us has to reflect that scale.
It absolutely does. And that brings us to the call to action in Ephesians 3. Paul tells the church to try and grasp the sheer immensity of this love. He asks us to know the width, length, height, and depth of a love that goes beyond knowledge.
When I first read that, those 4 dimensions, they feel impossible. How can a finite person even begin to measure the unmeasurable?
Well, the sources don't see them as just abstract ideas. They see them as encompassing the total scope and effect of Christ's love.
Okay, so break that down. The width.
The width is its breadth, how many people it reaches. It's a love that crosses every human division, every ethnic barrier.
The universality of it. Wide enough for everyone.
Correct. The length is its endurance. It's a love that stretches across all of time, from eternity past to all of the future. It never gives up.
And the height?
The height is its elevating power, the power to lift us from our fallen state to be seated with Christ in those same heavenly places.
Okay, and that leaves the depth, which, given what we've said about humility, has to be about his condescension.
Precisely. The depth is the measure of how far God was willing to stoop, down into human suffering, shame, death itself. To grasp all 4 is to grasp its comprehensive nature.
And the purpose for trying to know this
is overwhelming. It's, as the text says, to be filled with all the fullness of God.
That's the cosmic ambition right there. A human container filled with divine completeness. But what's really interesting is how fast the sources pivot from that cosmic scale to a very human struggle.
That pivot is everything. Because we're constantly tempted to, and I quote, confine God within the limits of my own small thinking. We look at our own weaknesses that don't seem to go away, our circumstances that never change, and we unconsciously shrink God down to the size of our problems. We make him small because we feel small.
It's that moment the cosmic scope just collapses down to the size of my overdue bills or that bad habit I can't shake. And I guess that's what the heavenly audience is watching for.
What do you mean? Does the witness falter when faced with the small stuff? The mundane?
Exactly. So the teaching advocates for a radical conscious choice, a shift in perspective, to lift your eyes beyond the immediate problems and look to a God who is greater than my problems, who transcends all my limits.
To live as a true cosmic witness.
An unfettered one,
Yes.
a witness to his boundless, overflowing love. And the irony is just magnificent. This huge calling, being witness to the cosmos, is given to beings who are described as inherently small and weak.
And yet the sources make a point of this. God trusted this weak vessel. He trusts that this love, the kind that always protects, trusts, hopes, and perseveres, will actually show up through us.
That trust is itself part of the display.
It is. It proves his wisdom operates completely outside of normal power dynamics. So your daily effort to show patience or forgiveness, It isn't just you being a good person, it's an active demonstration to a celestial audience about the manifold wisdom of God.
So our growth, our struggle to understand and reflect that love right here on earth, that's actively revealing the most surprising thing about God to the very beings who thought they knew it all, it just elevates the importance of every single choice we make.
It gives purpose to the struggle.
Okay, so let's take a final step back and summarize.
Yeah.
We started by asking why angels would need to learn anything from us. And the sources seem to provide a clear answer. The mystery of salvation is a cosmic display. The audience is the heavenly hosts. And the content of this great revelation is the unimaginable wisdom of humility and sacrificial love.
A love that was manifested through the Son and is now demonstrated by the church. So the ultimate challenge for you, the listener, is to stop shrinking your view of God based on what's right in front of you. Instead, to embrace this monumental calling, to be a true messenger of that boundless love to all of creation.
And if we can actually do that, if we can live out this love that astounds the heavens, the sources give us the ultimate payoff. It comes right from the end of Ephesians 3.
That's right. Experiencing the love of Christ, and it says, though it is too great to understand fully, it leads directly to being made complete with all the fullness of life and power that comes from God.
The completeness of the divine character revealed in the fragility of the human one. That's the transformation the cosmos is watching.
That's it.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the cosmic dimensions of redemption. We look forward to seeing you next time with an even better episode. Please remember to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you.